The master of money. You shall find money when you feel after money.
Money belongs to the one who belongs to self. This is the law few truly understand. It is not earned in sweat alone, nor gathered by hours and labor, though it may pass through those channels. Money is not given to the one who strives most, but to the one who assumes with certainty the state of wealth. You do not become rich with time, you become rich by claiming, in this very moment, the feeling of wealth as your own. The master of money is not the one with the largest vault, but the one who has mastered the unseen realm of assumption. Every dollar, every check, every windfall that your heart seeks already exists not in some distant future, but in the eternal now. Money lives in the infinite field of potential and responds to the one who calls it forth, not with desperation, but with dominion. The master does not ask timidly. The master does not wish quietly. The master selects the state of wealth, embodies it fully, and refuses to depart from it.
Chapter 1. The Master of Money. You have been taught to serve money, to chase it, to prove yourself for it, to work hardest for a thing you believe lives outside of you. But I tell you now, money is a reflection, not a source. It does not make you something. It reveals what you already are. The one who feels poor shall see lack, even in the richest of environments, and the one who feels wealthy shall multiply gold even among stone.
The world bends to your inner state, for the world is but a mirror to your consciousness. The game is not won by those who keep pretending not to know who they are. You must claim your identity as the master. When you walk in the feeling of already being provided for, not from ego, but from divine knowing, you shift currents unseen by the eye. There is a great spiritual law, immutable and loving, that says to every soul, according to your assumption, be it done unto you.
You are not a beggar beneath the throne of wealth. You are wealth in form, choosing to remember or to forget. The moment you identify as broke, struggling, or undeserving, you enter a state that crystallizes into evidence. But this evidence is not the truth. It is only the echo of a belief you've been rehearsing. The world is always showing you what you believe about yourself, and until you change your internal script from poverty to power, you will continue to see your own forgotten divinity reflected back as bills, debts, and delays. All manifestation flows from the seed of identity. Ask not, how can I get more money? But rather, who am I with money already mine? You do not have to know how it comes. You only have to know what it would feel like if it were already done. The moment you dwell in that feeling, you summon the ways and means. Opportune obey this unseen command. People appear. Miracles arrange themselves. Not because you chased them, but because you became the one who they must respond to. What you do flows from who you are. And when you are wealthy in awareness, the world makes way for that awareness to be expressed. The master of money lives first within. It is the quiet, daily selection of wealth as your true nature, not a fleeting hope that someday your bank account will prove your worth. You already are worth more than can be measured. Wealth is your inheritance by right of being.
The Father within has already given you all, but through your assumption, do you receive it? You are not here to become abundant. You are here to remember that abundance is your essence, and to assume it again as a child assumes love, naturally, without effort, without questioning. You are the idea pressed from the mind of the infinite. You are clothed in creative power, and when you feel money is already yours, when you move in the world with the internal stance of gratitude fulfilled, when you look at your hands and know they touch gold, even before they touch paper, then the outer must conform. Money has ears, and it listens not to your words but to your frequency. Shift your inner resonance, and you shift your financial reality. You have no need to beg life for what you already are. Choose now to walk as the master. Stand in the temple of your soul and declare, I am the wealth I seek, and so it is.
Chapter 2. You shall find money when you feel after money. You shall find money when you feel after money, not with anxiety, nor with strain, but with a soft, sacred certainty. It is not the finger grasping, nor the eye searching, nor the mind calculating that calls forth riches. It is the heart that feels the presence of wealth as if it is already here, swelling the atmosphere with the perfume of provision. You do not earn the right to riches by toil alone. You summon them by invoking their emotional essence from within. To feel after money is to touch what already exists in the invisible, and in that touch, spirit births form. You have been taught to wait for evidence, to see the paycheck appear before you allow yourself to feel safe, to witness the deposit before you feel free. But this is not the way of divine creation. You are not the child of circumstance but of imagination, and your world does not shape your feeling shapes the world. When you feel after money, you align with its vibration as if it were already yours. You close your eyes, and you don't ask, "Where is it?" You say within, "Ah, there it is." You taste the feeling of solvency, the calm that arises when every bill is paid, and the joy of generous giving. You breathe the fullness of abundance into your body, not as hope, but as fact. The outer world may still echo the old state. No matter. Stand firm in the unseen. Persist in the felt reality. The world will have no choice but to follow the rhythm of your certainty. The great mystery is this: the wealth you crave is not coming to you, it is coming from you. It is lived within your awareness long before you called it. Money. What you want to touch with your hands, you must first touch with your emotion. This is the sacred act of feeling it real. When the rich man walks into a room, he does not wonder whether he can afford what he sees. He assumes, he expects, he embodies ownership. And it is this spirit, not the balance in his account, that shapes his experience of being wealthy. To feel rich is to know in every breath that your supply is already here. It is to experience beforehand the stability, the peace, the lightness that only seemed possible after the money came. But those who wait forever. And those who feel, summon forth the miracles. When you feel after money, you activate the bridge of incidents, that divine orchestration of events that pulls your future to meet you where you stand. You may not know the means, but they know you. The job offer, the inspiration, the unexpected check. These are not causes, but echoes. The cause is always your state. Change the state, and the world must conform. Do not try to act rich outwardly, while inside you still vibrate with lack. This is vanity, and it leads to frustration. Transform inwardly, sit quietly, shut the gates of doubt, and enter the scene of your fulfilled financial life. Feel yourself in the chair of abundance, not as one pretending, but as one returning home. Money is not distant. It is already purchased and delivered in the warehouse of consciousness. You are simply walking to the door to receive what is yours. This is the holy contradiction. You do not strive to bring forth wealth. You relax into recognizing that it is already yours. You do not need to become someone else. You need only remember who you already are, the chooser, the imaginer, the divine one whose feeling governs all. The mistake is to seek symbols in the world before establishing truth in the self. The checkbook only mirrors your inner knowing. Feel wealth now, and trust that what you have felt must come to pass, for it already exists in spirit. Do not ask how, for the how is none of your business. Your only work is to remain faithful to the state, and in that faith, money shall flow, not because you chased it, but because you found it within. So pause, breathe, close your eyes and ask not from need, but from knowing. What does it feel like to have more than enough? To pay with ease, to receive with joy. These are not idle dreams, these are vibrations that open the gates through which money walks in. You are not merely attracting wealth, you are remembering it. Reclaim the state, and the world will conspire to match it. Feel after money, beloved, and it shall be found, not in the world first, but in your being. And once it is found within, all of heaven and earth will rush to reflect the truth of who you are, a master of money, dwelling richly in the unseen, bringing forth wonders without labor, without struggle, only feeling, only faith. Chapter 3. Stop being the servant of money. There is only one master within you. It is your I am. Everything else must answer to it, including money. But for far too long you have bowed before money as if it were some towering god, distant and mysterious, holding your dreams hostage in invisible vaults. You have made money your god, and in doing so you made yourself its slave, worrying, striving, rationing your joy, measuring your worth by numbers on a screen. And yet, beloved, money was never meant to rule you. It was made to follow you. You are not here to chase money. You are here to remember that it moves by the authority you give it. Feel this with all the force of your soul. Money obeys your state, not your effort. It responds not to your labor, but to your assumption.
The great tragedy is not lack. The great tragedy is ignorance of who you truly are. You're not some desperate seeker. You are the eternal dreamer, and money is but one of the many illusions formed by your state of consciousness.
Do not chase the illusion. Command the cause. As long as you see money as separate from you, something to get, to acquire, to earn through hardship, you will dance endlessly in the outer world, never realizing that the riches you seek are shadows cast by your inner world. The soul that believes it must win money through struggle becomes a servant to an idol of its own making, but the soul that knows its divine right to wealth, that feels money as a natural expression of its own being, will never be found lacking. You must choose today to drop the chains of financial fear. That old companion worry has given you nothing but more of itself. You think that worrying over money keeps you safe, responsible, humble. No, it keeps you poor in feeling and weak in knowing. Love and worry cannot occupy the same state, neither can wealth and fear. What are you assuming most often? That you are supported, or that you are abandoned? That you are always provided for, or that you must fight for your due? What you assume daily is what commands your world. Money is not your master, because no creation can be above its creator. You are the operant power. You do not need to get ahead, you need to get still. Feel for a moment now the great reversal happening within you. Instead of bowing to money, see money bow to you. Instead of asking money for permission to feel safe now, and money arrives to match it. Declare softly, yet with emotional finality, left double quotation mark. Do not chase it, left double quotation mark. Something ancient in you recognizes this fact, that when you stop begging, you start receiving. That when you stop trying to earn your worth, you begin to experience the worthiness that brings all things. Money is not hard. It is not scarce. It is not testing you, judging you, hiding from you. It is responding to you. It is responding to your embodied truth. When you feel unworthy, it mirrors back separation and lack. When you feel chosen, full, divine, it cannot help but rush to you, as rivers rush to fill the sea. A king does not scramble for coins. A queen does not plead for provision. They simply are, and because they are, all things are added. Stop being timid with money. Be bold with your inner authority. No more scarcity language disguised as humility. No more honoring financial struggle as if it were a badge of virtue. You were not made for struggle. You were made for mastery. And money responds not to those who obey it, but to those who embody the truth that they are the source. Take money off the throne. Put truth back on it. And what is truth? That what you deeply feel to be real will harden into your world. That money is not a master, but a mirror. If the mirror frightens you, do not smash it. Change the face it reflects. Go now into your own heart and see it differently. See money not as a mountain to conquer, but as the dust at your feet, eager to rise in the presence of your knowing. Blessed is the one who walks in dominion, for to her all things are given. You are no longer the servant of money. You are its source, its origin, its master. Walk accordingly. Chapter 4. Why do you earn the most when you are not thinking about money? The river does not struggle to flow. It does not count each drop, nor does it fear the course before it. It simply moves uninhibited, assured, drawn forward by a force it offers no resistance to. So too does money come when you release the need to chase it. When your hands are no longer tightened in strain, when your breath no longer clenched in waiting, when your mind no longer obsessed with numbers, a sacred opening occurs, and in it, money flows like the river. Simple, natural, multiplied. You were never meant to wrestle money to the ground. Striving is not your inheritance. Your wealth does not come by mental calculation, but by alignment. It comes not when you beg it to, but when you cease to block it with your anxious grasping. The paradox is this. Money responds most generously when it is not the centerpiece of your concentration, but the natural consequence of your elevated state. When you are truly alive in your calling, when you are laughing, loving, creating not from need, but from overflow, money sneaks in through the side door. Boldly, abundantly. Do you recall those moments when you were lost in the bliss of your own being, when you were not counting hours nor scrolling accounts, but savoring something greater purpose, art, joy? Were those not the moments when money mysteriously arrived? A check you forgot about, a client who came without promotion, an opportunity unearned by strategy, but gifted through resonance. Why? Because in those moments, you remembered your power, that your being is generative and money is a byproduct of your vibrational state. Thoughts about money are not the cause of wealth. Feeling the state of wealth is inherently relaxed. It does not fret. It does not grasp. It does not wait for permission. It walks in assurance, even while the outer world has yet to reflect it. It whispers, "It is done," long before the bank statement says so. When your energy is singularly devoted to securing money, you are unknowingly affirming that it is not here, and what you affirm with feelings, you multiply. The law only ever brings forth what you dwell in. So when you live in lack mentally, even with good intentions to increase, you prolong the very absence you hope to resolve. But when you turn from thought into being, when you forget the math, and remember your nature, you begin to open the gates. There is a divine intelligence within you that knows how to prosper you, far beyond your conscious mind. It crafts bridges of coincidences. It orchestrates people, moments, miracles. But it requires your surrender. Not surrender in defeat, but surrender in confidence. The kind that says, "This is not mine to figure out. It has already been done for me." When you rest in this spiritual truth, money cannot help but come to find you, because you have become irresistible to it. You were born to live in flow, not fixation. Fear winds your energy tightly, cutting off circulation, narrowing your field. But joy, true, uncalculated joy, expands it. And in expansion, there is room for money, room for miracles, room for overflow. Notice, the moments when you are fully yourself, unburdened, present, are not those the very moments where prosperity peeks in, unannounced? The subconscious creates without your interference. That is why the relaxed state accomplishes what tension delays. When you stop counting the money and start standing in the knowing that you are its source, not by effort, but by identity, you activate the law in its purest form. Get lost in your divine assignment. Play in your passion. Trust the wealth is coming, because when you're embodying the life of the wealthy, money knows its way to you. You earn the most not when you obsess over earning, but when you become the kind of person wealth cannot help but be near. When you drop the mind and slip into the heart, into your true state of already having, you radiate such ease, such certainty, that the universe races to comply. The world becomes your servant, and money is just your messenger. So do not worry if the money is not visible. Feel it, drink its essence, step into the spirit of it. Let it saturate your imagination so fully that to smile becomes second nature, and to expect good arrives without strain. Then go live, go create, go become something that has already arrived, and watch, gently, how wealth begins to meet you from every direction, as though it was missing you, as though it never left, as though it always knew where you were waiting for you, to stop looking and start being. Chapter 5. Your inner state is your only currency. There is only one wealth you truly possess, and it cannot be counted in numbers, held in a hand, or stored in a vault. Your fortunes rise and fall according to one treasure alone, your inner state. Before money ever reaches your pocket, it has already passed through your imagination. Before the riches of the world can come to dwell in your experience, they must first find a home in how you feel. You are not paid in proportion to the world's economy. You are paid in proportion to your assumption. All that manifests in your life, the money, the miracles, the sudden elevations, flows directly from the emotional climate you continually embody. Not occasionally, but faithfully. Your outer wealth cannot transcend the riches of your inner mood. The state you live in, not the work you do, creates your inheritance. To live as though you are already provided for, already overflowing, already selected by divine favor. This is the true labor from which all compensation comes. You need only master this, to dwell in the emotional frequency of the man or woman you wish to be. What would it feel like to know you are financially supported by the universe itself? What would you wear? How would you walk? What would the tone of your voice be, if you knew you could never be denied again? That is the self you must marry. That is the feeling you must wear like skin. The world does not respond to effort. It bows to embodiment. If you are striving for more money while dwelling in lack, you postpone your reward indefinitely. Because the outer cannot contradict the inner, it only reflects it, faithfully, unceasingly. You may be working harder than ever before, but if inwardly you inhabit a state of fear, doubt, or scarcity, then the harvest will be thin. But let one single soul begin to feel the newness of money. Let them sit at the banquet of abundance in imagination, and they will feast in the flesh. The only thing you ever truly own is your state.
You can lose jobs, relationships, opportunities, but you can never be robbed of your identity unless you surrender it. And once you claim a state, really claim it, not with daydreams, but with deep feeling, the universe must obey. This is God's law. Every state has a currency. Lack has a scent, a sound, a posture, so does abundance. You must learn to smell like wealth, to sound like sufficiency, to move like power. When you do, when you assume and assume again the state of financial ease, not as a wish, but as a truth, money becomes natural to you. It is no longer a pursuit, it is an effect. Why do some seem to attract money without trying? Because they are not vibrating in the energy of needing it. They are already home within the state of having it. Their hearts are not begging. Their assumptions are not scattered. They live in the mood of wealth with or without evidence. And the secret the world does not know is this: the mood is what creates the evidence. Mood is not fragile. It is not momentary. It is your magnetic field. What you feel consistently, you summon into form. When you feel rich, without justification from your bank account, you trigger the divine machinery that sends riches running toward you. Not because you earned them, but because you aligned with them. You do not prove your worthiness to money. You prove your expectancy. The currency of the soul is conviction. Not words, not rituals, not frantic effort, but a serene and fearless conviction. I am already provided for. It is already mine. I am not here to chase wealth. I am here to embody it. From this place, ideas come. Opportunities emerge. The winds of fortune shift in your favor because you have shifted first. So if you ask, where is my money? Ask instead, where is my state? If you wonder, why hasn't it come yet? Look to the throne of belief within you. Are you sitting in it, or just hoping one day you will? You cannot serve two states, one of lack and one of wealth, and the state you serve and feeling is the one that bears fruit and form. Choose now, and choose with finality. Dare to feel full. Dare to feel the thrill of wealth before a single dollar is seen. This is the great secret. Your feelings are the only future worth watching, for your world will rise to meet them without fail. You are not here to win money. You are here to express money as your nature. You are the bank, you are the gold, and your state rich, radiant, and unwavering is the only true currency of your life. Chapter 6. Assume nothing less than wealth. Do not insult the divine within you by assuming anything less than the fullness of wealth. You were not created to beg, to balance insufficiency like a delicate equation, or to plead at the feet of fate. You were not sent here to try, to hope, or to maybe someday. You are the incarnation of infinite supply who they are. And it is time you assumed your inheritance, like one who knows. You must understand this. Money responds not to labor, but to identity. It is not your actions that earn it. It is your assumption of self. If you linger in the halfway house of I want to be wealthy, or I hope it comes soon, you will find yourself trapped in delayed dreams and unmet promises. But when you inhabit the bold energy of I am wealth, you collapse time. You bring the promise into the present. You claim your throne. The law does not wobble. The law does not entertain contradiction. The law brings to you not what you wish, but what you assume to be true. So if your wish is to live richly, you must now wear the cloak of a wealthy man, not as costume, but as being. Enter into that persona so deeply that it becomes your natural tone of presence. Walk through the world as one who is paid well. Speak with the quiet conviction of someone whose accounts are overflowing. Rise in the morning with the feeling that wealth is a friend who meets you at breakfast. Feel your way into that reality until it drips from you like a fragrance. Lukewarm assumption is the thief of manifestation. You cannot move halfway into wealth. You cannot dip your toe in divine abundance and expect the river to part for you. To be partially wealthy in your imagination is to be entirely poor in your outcome. The universe does not reward indecision. It mirrors devotion. And this sacred devotion is not lip service. It is embodiment. Feeling, knowing, assuming the end with such clarity that even before it appears, you are no longer waiting for it. Think of a candle that has been lit. Would you ever doubt that it gives light simply because it is newly burning? The flame does not question its purpose. It need not prove itself. The moment it is lit, it shines. Such is the energy of an assumption fully owned. The moment you light the flame of I am wealth, the world begins bending, bending, bending to affirm that flame. Make wealth your new home, not a place you visit in fantasy, but the ground beneath your feet. Let it be in the way you breathe, the way you answer your phone, the way you tip your barista, the way you choose your thoughts. Let the idea of being rich feel so safe in your nervous system that your body no longer flinches at large amounts, no longer contracts at luxury, no longer wonders if you're
allowed. You are not only allowed, assigned, and divinely permitted to prosper, you are equipped. Stop studying wealth like a stranger. It is not a subject external to you. It is your nature. Assume it now, and refuse the fiction of lack. Imagine as though your bank account can never fall below overflowing. Speak aloud, even in silence. Everywhere I go, I bring increase. I leave money trails behind like footprints. Money finds me not because I chase it, but because I am it. Say it until it feels true, and then say it because it is true. Let there be no ambiguity in you. Say goodbye to the identity that needs convincing. Say farewell to the one who flashes between belief and doubt. Choose, assume, declare, be. You can no longer afford to walk in split vibration. Your power is too great, and your wealth too ready. The moment you choose decisively, without apology, without question, the moment you say inwardly, I have decided to be rich, the universe rearranges to make your decision real. Assume nothing less than wealth, and wealth shall assume you. Chapter 7. Desire is a divine map. Desire is holy. It is not a flaw to want more abundance, more beauty, more ease. It is the very voice of God calling you upward into your rightful expansion. Desire is not greed. It is guidance. It is not a hunger to be stifled, but a whisper from your deeper self, pointing toward the greater reality that already belongs to you in spirit. The money you long for, the lifestyle that continues to tug at your heart, understand this, that desire did not originate in your mind. It was breathed into your being by the same creative power that shaped galaxies, and the very fact that you feel it means you are meant to fulfill it. You are not wrong for wanting wealth. You are not asking for too much. You are not selfish to desire elegance, comfort, and freedom. Your craving for luxury is not vanity, it is clarity. It is the divine remembrance of what you were always meant to experience, hidden under the illusion of unworthiness. Money becomes hard to reach only when you judge your desire for it as wrong. But let your desire live. Let it lead you. It knows. Desire is not the absence of something. It is the presence of a possibility you are being invited to embody. When people say, wanting brings suffering, they speak of the kind of want that is fear cloaked in lack. But sacred desire is the opposite. It is abundant before the thing appears. When you feel desire without panic, when you delight in the longing because you already know it is yours in spirit, then that desire becomes a map, and every step you take from that knowing draws the money closer. Or rather, draws you into the state where money always was. You will find that desire becomes a compass of incredible accuracy when cleansed of doubt and shame. Have you noticed that the things you truly long for, the ones you can't shake, seem to follow a different rhythm from passing cravings? Some dreams throb with an ache that's both painful and joyful. That ache is not injury, but invitation. If wealth keeps knocking at the door of your imagination, let it in and sit with it. Imagine lavishness with no guilt. Feel gold dripping through your life without apology. Imagine ease, generosity, spaciousness, and don't ask how. Just feel it real. That simple act of emotional embodiment begins to reorder your world. Desire is sacred intelligence. It does not mock you. It does not tease you with visions of abundance just to leave your arms empty. Whatever you desire, faithfully and purely, is what you've already been given in the invisible. The echo arrives before the sound. The shadow arrives before the form. The next time wealth calls your name, respond with certainty. I hear you, and I know you are already mine. For wealth would only call to its own. You do not need to kill desire in order to be spiritual. You do not need to shrink your dreams to become realistic. Real wealth begins in unreality, in the unseen, the felt, the imagined. The feeling of wealth is the first substance of wealth. And when you allow your desire to paint scenes upon your inner canvas, scenes where money is fluid, available, and eager to partner with you, your world reshapes itself accordingly.
Some will tell you desire is a distraction. But I say to you, chronic lack is the real distraction. Constant need is the thief of your attention, your creativity, your freedom.
When you relinquish the guilt around wanting more, you make room for money to flow naturally, with softness, not strain. You stop clenching, you start allowing, and through your allowance, doors open. Who told you that having more was dangerous? That wanting riches was selling your soul. The truth is, you came here to remember your divine inheritance, not hide from it. You are not holy because you deny desire. You are holy because you follow it back to the source. Let it lead you into your new name, Master of Money. So when desire flares in your chest again, whether from a dream of overflowing accounts or candlelit dinners on foreign soil, do not run from it. Do not scold yourself. Instead, enter it. Close your eyes, breathe slowly, and feel as though it is already here. Let it drape over your spirit like silk. Let the desire become your dwelling place. Dwell there long enough, and the outer world will rush in to fill the shape of your assumption. Desire is not a sign that you are missing. It is proof that you've been found. It is not a gap, but a door. And money, hearing the sound of your unapologetic desire, will come, faithfully, eagerly, because wealth always returns to the one who no longer doubts their own worthiness to receive it. Chapter 8. The money version of you already exists. There is no wealth to chase. There is no fortune to earn. There is only an identity to assume, the one who has already received. The money version of you is not a dream, not a fantasy waiting in some distant future. It is real. It lives now, in the invisible realm of consciousness, waiting only for your agreement. And once your inner world says yes to that reality, once you feel its truth and move as one who knows, the universe shifts its shape to match the rhythm of your assumption. Creation is finished. That version of you, the one who feels at ease with money, who watches bank balances with deep calm and pleasure, who walks into rooms cloaked in the silence of self-worth, that version is not becoming. It is. And your only task is to feel your way into its lens. To abandon the old story, the narrative of lack, of effort, of worry, and surrender to the frequency of already done. The moment you release the insistence that money must be earned by sweat alone, you awaken to the truth that wealth flows to identity, not toil. You have known poverty not because it is your fate, but because you have rehearsed it in your emotional body. You've held the vibration of not enough, like an old friend. You've bowed to circumstances, forgetting that you are their author. But now the curtain lifts, and you remember, the power is and always was within. The wealth-bearing version of you breathes in the same room, walks at your side, mirrors your own face just awaiting your embrace. And here is the holy key. You cannot reach that version intellectually. The mind cannot walk you there. It is not through logic or business plans or spreadsheets that this dimension is touched. No, the doorway is feeling, deep feeling, a sacred knowing that bypasses the brain and imprints the soul. You must feel as though wealth were already your permanent condition. You must feel it in your spine, your chest, the way you exhale after a debt is cleared, the way you smile when unexpected income arrives. You must bring the emotion forward, even before the evidence, especially before the evidence. This is not about fantasy. This is about causation. When you embody the emotional atmosphere of financial fulfillment, you are not pretending you are creating. You are entering the vibration that calls forth its perfect reflection in time. Because the external world is not separate from you. It does not happen to you, it echoes you. This is not magic, it is law. Sit now with yourself, close your eyes and ask, what would it feel like if it were already true? If the money were here, in abundance, to do and be, and give as you desire, how would it sit in your body? How would your shoulders relax? How would your breathing slow? How would your voice change? How would you rise from your bed, order your food, face your day? That is the self you must marry. That is the money version of you, and it waits for your full union. Do not disqualify yourself with memories. Do not delay with doubt. You do not need to deserve it. You simply need to become it. You were never asked to be righteous to be rich. You were only asked to feel as though you already are. To feel first, and allow all the wealth, the clients, the payments, the sales, the surprises, the payoffs to rise in response. You have permission to shift now. to loosen the grip on the old self, the struggling self, the deprived self. That self is not wrong, it simply held a lesser image of you. But there is a greater likeness within, and that version is rich beyond measure, because it knows that money follows being, not begging. So assume it, wear it. Let it bleed into the fabric of your life, into the act, tone of your next conversation, into the pace of your next step. Money doesn't change people, it reveals them. So reveal your wealth. Reveal the one who always had enough, because they always were enough. Reveal the one whose energy declares, I am worthy of overflow. That version is not imaginary, it is eternal. And every time you soften into its feeling, you draw it nearer until the illusion of separation disappears altogether, and the world must deliver what you've already received within. You don't have to become rich, you only have to remember that the version of you who already is was never far away. It was here, now, waiting for you to feel it real. Chapter 9. Faith is the currency of the invisible. Who told you that money needed your toil to appear? Did the lilies of the field labor for their beauty? Did the stars hustle to shine above you? There is a wealth beyond effort, and its name is faith. Not the flimsy belief that trembles when the evidence is missing, no. Faith that knows. Faith that walks as though what is unseen is already here. Faith that feels the fullness of the invisible and calls it real. This is the true currency of the unseen riches. Money arises not because you beg for it, but because you abide with certainty in the state where money already exists. The sensory world is merely delayed reflection, and yet, so many look at the balance sheet of the now and declare it the truth. But truth belongs to the one who declares the unseen as done. What you carry within, you will carry without. Your faith, feel it now, is the purchasing power of all you ever desire. Your five senses are not the gatekeepers of reality. They are merely instruments that echo your inner convictions. If you see lack, feel lack, speak lack, you are not manifesting lack. You are remembering it. But step beyond memory, step into faith, and you find yourself living the future now. Wealth requires a heart that sees beyond sight, an imagination so trained in conviction that it dares to discard appearances. Every miracle of money first appeared as a certainty in the unseen, before it was clothed in form. Do you realize that every time you choose to feel that you are prosperous, even in the midst of delay, you are planting a spiritual check in infinite currency? That each embodied moment of, I already have, I am already paid, my hands are full, transfers wealth from the invisible storehouse of creation into your visible life. Only faith can transact on this level. And faith is nothing more than emotional allegiance to the unseen being, more real than what your senses whisper. Do not make faith a passive waiting. Faith is bold. Faith wears the coat before winter comes. Faith walks into the restaurant knowing the table is already reserved. When you use your emotional energy to feel abundance before evidence, you do more than visualize. You invest. And what you emotionally invest in must return. This law is perfect in justice. It does not mock. It returns all embodied feelings in equal measure. This is not a request for money. This is not a vibration sent to the cosmos. This is embodiment, now. Hear me. The one who walks in faith does not wonder when the money shall come. They know it is already finding channels, already moving, whispered into the hearts of people and circumstances to show up in divine order. This person cannot be shaken. And because they cannot be shaken, supply cannot be withheld. There is no audition here, no tryout for wealth. Either you take the role of the prosperous one and walk in it now, or you defer it until you feel ready, but you will only ever feel ready the moment you decide to feel it first. That is the divine loop. Money is not the reward for faith. Money is the effect that appears when you finally stop doubting that it's already yours. The world may teach you to earn, to work harder, to build systems, and systems have their place, but beneath all action is assumption. Beneath every system is a self-concept. Work without faith produces nothing but dry striving. But faith, even with little effort, alchemizes moments into gold. Because it is not your action that creates, it is your identity. And faith is identity that won't flinch in the face of delay. So if today your pockets feel thin, and your accounts speak of lack, go higher. Do not stay with appearances. Stand up inside yourself and declare the unseen now. Say it with me, and feel it into being. I am money's destination. I am the rich one, the blessed one, the chosen one. And because I know it within, Nothing can keep it from me. My faith is the receipt. I spend it freely. I rejoice before arrival. And so, money arrives, because I already received. Remember this always. The world responds not to your need, but to your knowing. And faith is knowing, wrapped in feeling. Wrap yourself this very moment in the cloak of certainty. And watch how money sweet, abundant, unquestioning, comes home to where it has always belonged. To you. Chapter 10. Spend from the state of being rich. How do you spend your money? With fear? With hesitation? With apology? These are questions that do not apply to the one who has assumed the true state of wealth. The rich man, in consciousness, does not spend timidly. He spends with grace, confidence, and complete inner security, not because of the number in his bank account, but because of the relationship he holds within. Spending, for the master of money, is not a loss, it is an act of confirmation. It is the divine outflow that affirms, left double quotation mark, am wealth, and wealth flows as I flow. You are not simply spending dollars, you are spending from identity. Every transaction is subconscious testimony of the state you dwell in. If you spend while holding back emotionally, if you buy while doubting tomorrow's provision, then you remain entangled with lack, no matter how much you physically own. But to spend from the state of being rich, this is to understand the secret alchemy of keeping wealth in motion. Money must circulate as your consciousness circulates. Life rushes to fill where fear has been released. There is an ancient power in how you feel as you give. Did you not notice how the truly wealthy are unafraid to part with their money? It is not because they calculate every transaction to the last cent, but because they assume something you may not yet have dared to claim. What I give returns to me multiplied. They do not think of spending as depletion. They know the eternal law. You cannot be separated from what you are. If you are wealth, you cannot lose wealth, you only express it. To spend freely is to signal to the universe, your unshakable knowing, that there is more where that came from. And indeed there is, not behind effort, but behind assumption. The money you spend from a state of lack echoes out an emotion that says, I hope this isn't a mistake. I hope I am not losing too much. But the money you spend from a state of abundance echoes out, this is who I am. I am never without. I am supported in ways seen and unseen. What does the wealthy version of you feel as they pay the bill? Calm, certain, grateful. They are not afraid that what they spend won't circle back. They are already tasting the divine return. They are already living in the joy of sufficiency. When you spend as that identity, if your outer world momentarily protests, you seed new worlds underneath the surface. You fertilize the roots of unimaginable provision. Even, do not fear to buy the coffee, the coat, the class, the candle, if you feel wealth as your truth. Spend with the poise of someone who is never left behind. Spend with reverence for the energy that flows through you, to you, as you. Money is not departing you, it is expressing you. Your consciousness is the only source of supply. And your state, not your salary, not your balance, not your clients, is the master key. You are not being irresponsible by treating yourself from the energy of I am already wealthy. That is not recklessness, it is recognition. It is creative because it molds your concept of self, and your concept of self draws all things unto it. God does not judge your purchases. God is not tallying your receipts. God only mirrors the feeling you plant within. Give richly, not recklessly, but richly in emotion, richly in faith. Embody that feeling when you press send, when you swipe the card, when you click purchase. The how and when of it returning to you is not your burden. Creation is finished. What you've accepted as true must outpicture itself. Perhaps in the past, you paid the rent trembling. You bought the groceries with worry. You opened the banking app with dread. Let those days be behind you now, not because you reached a magical number, but because you reseated yourself in your throne. You don't get rich and then feel free. You feel free, and then the riches match you. When you spend from the throne, you speak to money as an equal, not a master. You let it dance with you. If you must spend, then do so as royalty. If you must pay, then do so as prosperity personified. Let each transaction rise as a ritual, not in fear, but in faithful joy. Say within yourself, There is more. There is always more. I am the more. You do not give to lose. You give to prove yourself who you are becoming. Spend from the state of being rich, and money will find new ways to return right where it belongs, in the hands of its master. Chapter 11. Riches follow the one who feels first.
You need not chase. Never again shall you run after money like a beggar, hoping to be noticed by a disinterested king. You are not petitioning the world for wealth. The world is petitioning you to embody it.
You do not follow riches. Riches follow the sound, the fragrance, the frequency of the one who feels them as already real. When you drop the old identity of the one who needs and step into the calm knowing of the one who already has, you discover the ancient and abiding secret. Money moves toward emotion, not effort.
There is one great truth in this world that governs all manifestations of wealth, and it is this: what you feel inwardly, you express outwardly. Emotion is not a reaction to what has happened, it is the cause. Money cannot reach the one who waits for physical proof. It flows to the one who dares to feel it first. Riches require your emotional consent. They will not break into your experience uninvited. The wealthy are not those who work the hardest. They are those who mastered the invisible world of being. The rich were rich inside long before dollars arrived. They rehearsed the feeling of prosperity. They whispered thank you when nothing had arrived yet, and life reorganized itself around that devotion. You, magnificent creator, are not waiting on money. Money is waiting on you to assume it already is. But how often have you denied that assumption? How often have you proclaimed poverty with your inner monologue? You say you desire riches, but do you inhabit wealth while you speak? Or does your soul carry the tone of lack, the mood of absence, the sigh of
one day? Feel this now. There is no such thing as one day. There is only I am. And what you am is what appears. Let no man tell you that striving makes you worthy. Let no soul convince you that money loves the desperate. It does not gravitate to hunger. It is not seduced by grasping. It is called by vibrational affluence, the softness of someone who knows they are already provided for. The one who wakes each day and wears abundance like skin. The one who has stopped asking, when, and started declaring now. Listen within. Does your atmosphere say, I am chosen by money? Do your thoughts carry the posture of being already received? I tell you this. If you would but feel the honey of wealth dripping through your imagination, if you would rest today in an inner world crafted around ease, joy, and sufficiency, you would see the external world reflect it back in unimaginable ways. Not because you begged, not because you worked harder, because you became. And when you become what you seek, the seeking ceases. You do not look for what you already have. Riches come where they are expected, not hoped for, not clutched after, expected. Here is the holy task. Choose the version of you who has never lacked, the version of you who laughs in the presence of money because you are its origin. That version already exists. The door is not locked, only your identity is. Open it. Neville once said, left double quotation mark. To feel rich before a single dollar arrives is to enter the seat of God. It is to borrow the vision of the divine and know that the seen always follows the unseen. The material is servant to the spiritual. Your mood precedes your manifestation. You do not become a money magnet tomorrow. You are it now. The riches are here now, waiting for your signal, your feeling, your permission. So pause and feel it now. Not later, not after you fix, earn, or prove. Breathing the perfume of enough, touch the inner rhythm of already mine. Let yourself walk in wealth as you brush your teeth, sit in traffic, or write an email. This is the secret pressure point of creation. The invisible space between your ears is heaven, and heaven is not coming, it is pouring through you in every state you assume. The master of money does not hustle for wealth. The master of money is wealth, and so money dances to their presence. You are not chasing, you are being. And all that is meant for you is already in motion, rushing toward the stillness of your surrendered knowing. So be still, feel rich, and watch how the world obeys. Chapter 12. The Arrival of Inevitable Riches. It is done. The moment you have fully assumed the feeling of wealth as your natural essence, not your distant future, money must come. Not might come, not could come, it must, For you are no longer hoping, you are no longer waiting, you are the one who knows. You have crossed over from longing into knowing, and what you know with feeling becomes law. There is a moment, precious and quiet, when the internal struggle stops. You stop asking how. You stop arguing with the conditions. You stop bargaining with fear. In that stillness, you become available for what has always been yours. Wealth was never behind a locked door. Wealth was never hiding from you, withholding itself while judging your worth. No, wealth was waiting, devotedly, for you to remember who you are. The final chapter of mastering money is this. You stop performing for it. You remember that you and money have never been separate. You and abundance are not lovers separated by fate, waiting to reunite. You are wedded to it now. In consciousness, in vibration, in your emotional spine, you say with utter assurance, "It is mine." And this isn't a declaration from the lips, it is a knowing that settles into your bones. You breathe like money is yours. You walk like money is yours. You rest like it's already paid for, already done, already pouring in. This is the summit not of striving, but of surrender. The surrender to truth. The truth that you have never needed to earn worth. That money is a mirror, a servant, a responder, not a judge. You are not summoned to chase it, but to become so deeply identified with having it that its arrival feels like the finishing of a sentence already half spoken. And oh, how quietly it comes. It is not always the thunder of checks in the mailbox or viral success. Sometimes, it is the steady stream of a life aligned, the perfect opportunity showing up on time, without worry, the inspired idea that multiplies, the favor you didn't ask for, the gift you didn't see coming. This is how inevitable riches arrive, not through desperation, but through divine precision. You become magnetized by identity, not effort. You begin to walk in invisible plenty. Others will ask how you've done it, and you may try to explain. But how do you describe feeling the aroma of money before it appeared, tasting its sweetness before it was visible, skipping timelines by becoming the one who has it already? Your wealth is no longer a story of labor. It is a biography of being. You became wealth, and because you became it, the world bent to reveal it. There are no final steps, because you were never farther than one breath from your riches. You are not climbing to abundance. You are peeling off the illusion of lack. Money is not something earned, it is something allowed through your willingness to feel different, to feel now what people wait a lifetime to grant themselves. The joy, the relief, the sufficiency, the freedom of knowing, I am already kept. You do not manifest wealth by commanding the world to change. You manifest wealth by no longer being willing to feel poor. And once you withdraw permission for the emotion of scarcity, once you refuse to bow to fear-based conditions, wealth must arrive. For you are now a home it recognizes. Your vibration carries the signature of inevitability, of certainty without resistance. And you will know you have entered it because the grip loosens. The air of anxiety, of proving, of forcing, disappears. You become like a child again, trusting in unseen provision, dancing an invisible guarantee. It is not your job to make money arrive. It is your sacred privilege to assume your identity so faithfully that money recognizes you as its rightful owner, not because of what you've done, but because of who you've dared to be. Every chapter of your journey, every desire, every dollar longed for, every seed of wish was leading you here, full circle, not to a future of wealth, but to the present realization that everything is already finished in consciousness. You do not make money happen, you partner with the divine completion already done. And it shows up not as a reward, but as reflection. So walk with peace in your heart, and provision in your hands. You are never without again. You are not becoming wealthy, you are remembering you've always been. The game has changed. The master has awakened. It is done.